Simplifying Rational Expressions, a how-to guide with step-by-step instructions with me. Simplifying rational expressions. Now you may ask, what is a rational expression? This right here is a rational expression. A rational expression is the quotient of two polynomials, because these right here are both polynomials. Now, what are the steps to solving a rational equation? Step 1 is you factor. Step 2 is you find or solve for your non-permissible values, also known as your restrictions. And step 3 is you simplify. Pretty easy, right? Now let's start with a simple equation. Now this is our simple rational expression. The top, which is the numerator, has x squared plus 11x plus 28. The denominator is x squared minus 49. Now, we have step 1, which is factor, as I said before. We're going to factor the numerator first, and we're going to call it our a problem. And then we will factor the denominator, which we will call b. X squared plus 11x plus 28. What do these two multiply together? And they get 28 here. And then what is our middle term? It's positive 11. So we have positive 11. Now we have to find out what two terms, or what two numbers, both multiply to positive 28 and add to positive 11. Those numbers will be positive 7 and positive 4. So we solve them into our equation. You go x plus 7, and then you have x plus 4. And that's it for the numerator. Let's go with the denominator. The denominator has an x squared minus 49. Now, you have to ask yourself, can we factor this? We can. We can using a difference of squares. Because you can square root 49 to 7, and you can square root x squared to x. And this is the difference because it's a negative sign, or a subtraction. So we can sub it into x plus 7 and x minus 7. And that's our denominator. Now let's put them together. This is our factored equation. Now we're on to step 2, which is finding our non-permissible values. To find our non-permissible values, we only look to the denominator. X plus 7. What do you solve into x to make it not equal 7? That would be x equals negative 7. Here, x minus 7, what do you sub in so x cannot equal negative 7. X here equals, as a non-permissible value, positive 7. And those are our non-permissible values. Now that we've found our non-permissible values, we are on to the third step, which is simplifying our rational expression. So first, we are going to cross out x plus 7 and x plus 7, because they cancel each other out because they're the same equation, because they're the same. So that leaves us with x plus 4 over top of x minus 7. And that is the simplest form that we can write. So these are our non-permissible values and the simplest form. And you're done your simple equation. Now we're on to our complex equation. And all the steps are still the same. So we're first going to factor. And we're first going to factor the numerator, and then we're going to factor the denominator. So I'm going to name the numerator A, and then I'm going to name the denominator B. So A, we have 32 minus 2a squared. Now, they have a common factor, which is 2. So first we're going to divide out 2. And that leaves us with 16 minus a squared. And as in the last question, we again have a difference of squares.
we again have a difference of squares.
Because 16 square root equals 4, and the square root of a squared is a, and there's a subtraction sign. So we're going to simplify it more to 2, because 2 does not change, to 4 minus a, and 4 plus a. And we're done simplifying this equation. And we're done simplifying part A. Now we're on to part B. And our equation is 2a squared plus 4a minus 16. This is the denominator. So first, we're going to factor it. And we're going to factor it by finding out what 2 times negative 16 is. That will be our AC equals. And 2 times negative 16 is negative 32. And then our middle term will be our b, which is positive 4. Now we have to find out two terms that both multiply to negative 32 and add to positive 4. And those numbers will be negative 4 and positive 8. So we are going to sub them in. Now we're going to simplify this even more. We're going to take out a 2a from this equation. So 2a, and we're going to have an a minus 2 left over. Then here, we're going to sub out an 8, because they both have terms that can be divided by 8. And we're going to have a positive 8. Inside the bracket, we'll have a minus 2. You know you've done this right when these two are the same. So this will just give us 2a plus 8, and then a minus 2. Can we factor this anymore? Yes, we can, because 2a plus 8 has a common factor of 2. So we're going to factor it out even more by taking out a 2. So it will be 2 in their own bracket, and then a plus 4, and then we're going to have a minus 2. And this is going to be our denominator. Since we're finished step 1, we're going to go to step 2, which is finding our non-permissible values. Now we're going to again take them from the bottom, which is the denominator. Here, for this equation equals 0, a cannot equal negative 4, because negative 4 plus positive 4 equals 0. Here we have a minus 2, and for that not to equal 0, we're going to have a is not going to equal positive 2, because positive 2 minus negative 2 will equal 0. So these are our non-permissible values. From here, we're on to step 3, which is to simplify our equation. Now, we look here. Do we have any matching terms on the top and bottom? And we do. We have two 2's, so those cross out, and we have a 4 plus a and an a plus 4. These are the same even though they're not identical, because both have a positive 4 and are both adding positive a's, so they can cross out. Therefore, that leaves us with a 4 minus a in our top equation, and an a minus 2 in our denominator. And that is our final answer. And that's how you simplify rational expressions.